evening, everyone. Welcome again to Become to Be Blessed Network. I'm happy to have you this evening for Wisdom Wednesday Live talk show. I see that you enjoyed last week. Thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you for watching. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for just being here. I want to say thanks again to my guests last week, and they're here with me again. Mrs. Glennis Allen, welcome and thank you again for being
Yes,
here
thank
this
you.
evening.
A pleasure.
And thank you again to Mr. Oral Cameron. Thank you again, sir, for being here.
Thank you very much. It's our pleasure to be on.
So as we mentioned, last week was awesome, and we are happy to have you this week again with us. And we are gonna dive deep and get into some things. I want to share with you this quote. It says, making the decision to have a child is momentous. It is to decide forever to have your heart go walking around outside your body. A lot of times I've seen it. People post their child or their children pic on social media and they'll say, that's my heart outside my body. Oh, I never knew I could love the way I'm loving now until I become a parent. So we know that it's a wonderful feeling. And if you were here with us last week, you would have heard our guests sharing their own experiences of being a parent. It's a wonderful one. But we explored and we acknowledge that they don't come with handbooks, what to do, what not to do. But we're glad that we have persons who and knowledge and books and all of these things so that we can gather information and we can share. So let's get right into it. We know, as we mentioned, that uh, a lot of times we realize we end on the note last week that how to deal with clashes. And one of the things I think this week we were exploring, and my husband and I we were going through and we were saying the traits, some of the traits. If you look at biology, they say you get the chromosome from when you get two sets of chromosomes, one from the mom side and the dad side, and it comes together. And when you look at a child, you can say, when you look at yourself, you can say, oh my, I look like my dad, my nose, I have my dad's nose, or I have, sometimes I hear you look like your mom. And then when I look, especially if I'm putting on weight, I realize, but oh my, I'm looking more like my father with his round, spongy face. So you look at those traits and you see those traits. For some children, you don't necessarily see the physical traits, but the personality is there and all of those things. So we know that there's some things, some of the traits that are not so good, and there are times when they do manifest in the children or the child, and we really don't like it. When it's staring in your face and it's just too much. That's where we're gonna start this evening. What do you do when that part of your personality, the trait in you that you don't like, is manifesting in the child? And we also know that sometimes the relationship maybe on the father's side is not so good. It has ended, and then the child is just manifesting. The father, and the mother cannot deal with it. That is where we want to start this evening. Mrs. Allen, go over and tell us now how can the parents deal with this aspect of life.
Wow. When when I looked at this question, I said, is Samantha trying to trick us oral? Oh my God. I'm telling you. Well, the truth is, we will see traits in our children that we love, and we will see some that we don't really love. But guess what? The reality is, it just shows us that we all have strengths and we all have weaknesses, and we all have things that we have to work on as human beings. It also humble us too. Let us know that there's no perfect parent, there's no perfect mom, and there's no perfect dad. It's two imperfect persons coming together, working together to make a relationship work, and they procreate and have children. So I just want to establish that in the beginning, Samantha. And so as a result of that, yes, I've seen traits that I really love in my children. I will see some traits that they have of their dad, and I really love that as well. And some of mine. But as you mentioned about the ones that I do not love, there are ones that I see. For example, I have my daughter. So I will see some personality traits coming out that I might not necessarily love. And I say to myself, but oh my God, I'm me that man. So we have to be honest with ourselves as well, especially if I see she come off too strong on her smaller brother. And I will say to myself, but I will do that too. I come off strong at times. So how I deal with that, I will say to her that they can take time, not go so hard and so forth. But then in my car, and I said to myself, but so I really need that still, and all of that. But then we have to kind of strike the balance to Samantha as well, because guess what? If the trait is one where it's going to be so damaging, I think that is where we really have to speak up and correct the behavior and be honest and say, well, look here, I used to do that and it's not right, and this is where it has affected me. So this is where we have to fess up and be honest with our children. If you see where a trait is really damaging and you see it is going in a bad direction and you know for yourself it is not good, I think that is where now we have to be honest with our children and have that conversation and say, boy, I don't like that. I used to do that, and this is what happened. These are the consequences, are the repercussions. I don't want you to carry out that kind of behavior. So that is how honest I can really speak about traits that we do not like in our children, and we honestly don't want them to continue on that path, especially if it's going to be very destructive. So that's what I want to say about that so far. I hope I do some justice to it. Oh my God.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I think that is true. We have to be honest. And even when we look at why we're here, striving and striving to be a better version of ourselves in every aspect of our life, we have to be honest. We have to be honest. So we have to own up and say, okay, we see this, and not just hate it and turn a blind eye to it. And while we talk of that, something came to mind. I remember as a child growing up, I guess I was the eldest. I'm the eldest, so snacks and all those things would not be for the eldest. And then it's not that you have it all. You are just maybe just able to afford all that you need. And if my mother is here, she's gonna be laughing. And when snacks were bought for my brother, and I know I wasn't gonna get it, so I decided that I want it, so I take it. Most of the times, when I decide to eat it when I'm in the shower. So that time the house was building, and I don't know who gave me that bright idea to put the trash outside the window that was building. That means somebody would have to go out there and see that over time there was a built up of the snacks that have been eaten or have gone missing. Anyways, that was it. And my siblings, when they found out, I tell you, they said, oh my, that is what she's doing all along. Fast forward to now. My daughter is an only child, and she doesn't have to do that. But I realized that she did the same thing, where she took the snacks and she ate it in her room, and you find out that the trash, you found the trash, and I have to like shake my head and like, oh my God, look at this. When I tell my mother say, yes, you never know you ain't gonna get it back. So I tell you, there are just things, and even as you mentioned, personality. Oh, oh my. Daddy and I, we have to be looking in each other's eye and shaking our head. Because we'll say, oh my God, this little girl is so strong. She wants to rule us. You tell us where to sit, and she's much, much because I have a strong tone, but I have never, maybe it's in adult age where I really see myself like maybe will come at strong at maybe talking or so, but she is literally putting things in, I tell you, and she's just 5. So I tell you the traits, and then sometimes we'll laugh and say, that's not me, that's you, daddy. And then you say, so what is you? Talk about yours. So we know all of those things. So we just have to be honest and try to face some of the things, even if it's not so good and all of that. All right, Mr. Cameron, let us hear what's your advice to parents who have see the traits that they don't like, the personality, their own personality standing out and manifesting in their child or their children.
Thank you very much, Miss Samantha. As I say, we are here to talk the thing as it is. And I was saying to somebody today that there are some traits that we see in our child, our children. They point right back to us at childhood. And sometimes there are some things that they manifest. Ah, you might feel that way, but that's just you. And I would relate that one of my sons, sometimes he can be very silent. That was me. Sometimes withdrawn. That was me. And sometimes it doesn't look good, but that's the truth. But there are some other things that you love, because sometimes when you become silent, you become withdrawn, don't want to talk to anybody, and sometimes when you're even stressed, sometimes you do that as a child. And sometimes when you come up now and you come up and you have your child or children, it's the same trait in them and you would like to wipe it out of them. But as I said, if we can roll back the curtain, that was the same thing that you used to do. I know you don't like it. You just don't like what they are doing, but that's you. And my other son, I said, some of them they have some things, and they love the things of the Lord. That was me, and for that I love them. But there are some things that they do that you don't like it. You have got to work with it, because it's coming right off your tree. Right off your tree, by the fruit you shall know them. So I say when they ask them, you can know that that is or that is Lorraine. So I'm saying that's how it is. But parents have got to don't kill them. It's you. It's you when you were younger. I know you have your children. It's the same thing. Dad and mom came together, have child or children, whatever, have one or two, whatever it might be. And when you look at their behavior, it's just you. You cannot. It's either like you're strong, because some female very strong. So if they are that and they're strong, that's mommy. Mommy might say, oh, you're so nice. Maybe mommy used to be nice too. So I'm saying that sometimes we need to just cope with them. Don't kill them, because we were the same thing in time past.
All right. While you were talking, something came to mind, and I don't know how much we can try to explore it. And because as you talk, it came to mind. When I think, as we are talking, and we say, if the child is yours biologically, I think we are able to cope with it somewhat. You might lash out with it, but you might cope with it. What could we say to parents
Learn,
who are step
look,
parents?
learn,
The
look,
child is not theirs.
learn, look every this man, child.
The child is not theirs biologically, and they are struggling because the traits are not theirs. And I guess they are married into a family, and now you have to own these children. They are not yours, but the traits that they have is overwhelming. What could we say to parents like those? Go ahead, Mrs. Allen.
All right. That's a very good question and very good observation as well, because it didn't even come to mind. But it's true, because we have persons who are not biological parents, and so they may adopt a child, foster a child, or because of situations, maybe loss of a family member, and you take that child now as your own. And as you mentioned, that child may portray some negative attitudes or, attributes of their parents or the other family members that you didn't really, that you can't really cope or probably handle. And so it can be a challenge as well. So for parents who will are going through this kind of situation, for me, my advice would be that you have to be more patient with them, and I would say the best way to is to ensure you treat that child as if that child is your own. Because sometimes when children act up, especially when it's not your biological child, I'm not saying all the time, but some of the factors is because of the treatment. The child knows that they are not your biological child, and so they see where you treat your own better, you give them more food, they get better in every way. There's a difference, and it's so evident to the child. So because of that, that child can become very resentful, can become rebellious as well, because in feels a boy, there's not enough love, and they're not the biological child. So I would say ensure that you are treating them equally. Um, as much as possible. Let that child feel at home, because you already agreed to keep that child with you. So I'm saying that give that child the support and the love and the best care. It works because when children are really loved, they see themselves after a while and realize that no, but why should I be disrespectful Samantha? And she care for me so much. She buy food for me. She if I'm sick, she's there. Because children are smarter. They think through things as well. However, on the contrary, where you might be doing all that you can for them, and right, the child now have some attributes now where it's just not in line with what your home rules are, what you expect. Then I would suggest that you can get some assistance with that child, some professional help, because there are other persons who can help out as well in talking with that child and understand to look here. You are in a particular home, somebody love and care for you. You have some children out there wish they would be a part of this family, and let them try to understand the need to appreciate, you understand, and be respectful as best as possible. But I know it do happen, Samantha. There's no one answer for that. But the situation varies. But what I know is that children know when they are loved. And I would say to family members, if you have children in your care, show them love. Show them love. Because if you show them love, then when they're out of line, when they get to themselves or come back to themselves, they will come back and apologize and, get back in line. So shower them with love, do the best that you can. And also with the other children, let them know that they are part of the family, so they know how to treat that child as well. Because sometimes children can be mean with each other, and the parent don't even realize what is going on behind the scenes. So that is very, very important as well.
That is so true. That is so true. So true. Ora, go ahead and let us hear what's your take on that. What would you say to a parent or parents or people who up to take the children and to grow them, but they are not trace that they're manifesting is not theirs.
I just want to pick up on what Sister Glennis had said a while ago. That they on the contrary, there are some persons that cannot have a child, and for some reason they went to foster home, and maybe they adopt one or two. They knows nothing about the child. So taking that person in your home is gonna be a learning process. So I am thinking that I don't know if it can work. I I am thinking that if the system could have set up that whether you could have maybe an hour with that child before that, whether he or she is taken to your personal home. That means you can be acquainted with some of the traits. You might not be able to see all of them. But as time go along, so I'm saying that Maybe if they have some time with them before, they're taking them to their personal home. 'Cause there are some parents cannot deal with certain behavior, certain trait. They cannot. They cannot, and especially if they had a child and the child died. They are going to be taking that child, but especially if that child was well behaved, had manners, respectable, and kind, cooperative. They'll be thinking in their mind that I'm going to take up a child and they'll be having the same trait, and it's not necessary. So once you take up a child that you are not accustomed with or you don't know that child, you have got to put yourself in their shoes and be slowly getting to know their trait. And as Sister Glennie said, sometimes again, when you take that child to be with your child, it's a whole different thing. Let's draw back. Even sometimes, let me just use a scenario. Sometimes you might come to visit me and you're accustomed to certain nice behavior. And when you come around there, I become mean, you become uncomfortable. So sometimes you take in a child that was well behaved. Says 10 now and he's coming from a foster home. No, mother no cannot manage, but he was well beloved, but because of circumstances. Mother cannot, it can't, the parents cannot afford maybe to take care of that girl or boy as they would. Remember, they are coming from a loving community. When they come into your home, if you doesn't show them that love, they are gonna feel very uncomfortable. So once a child come in your home along with the other child, you have got to let them feel welcome, well beloved, and watch them. And once a child, as Sister Glennie said, children is very observant. And once you start to treat them mean, they are gonna realize, and they are gonna feel uncomfortable. So we have got to try as much as possible to level the playing field. Don't let them feel like, boy, it's not my child, so listen to me. I mean, I've treated good like my child. No. Once the onus is on you that takes up the child from the foster home, wherever you get that child from, is to make sure they are treated fair, treated kind, treated like somebody. Because there are some parents out there, God help me. Sometimes I'm saying there are reasons why they don't have the children. Because I'm saying the older would treat children, it wouldn't make any sense. So there are some children that sometimes they go into the foster home. They might, whatever farm they should fill out, they fill it out very good. But when that child leave for the home, it's like they are in hell alone. We have never been there. So I'm saying, if you don't love children, leave children alone. Don't follow anybody. Don't follow anybody. And once you take them into your care, do the best you can, whether without children or with children, that they can feel welcome, because they are human and they are men and women for tomorrow.
I guess we can't overemphasize that love covers a multitude of sins. Love is the principal thing. And while both of you spoke and I look at it, I realize, and even and we see it so often, even in what we would call step parents, we realize that a lot of times people, you come into the relationship knowing that the man or the woman has children, and they are now gonna come into your home, but the love is different. And I would want to bank on what Oral said. He said, if you don't leave children, leave them alone. And it might sound away, but it is true. And a lot of times persons will love the husband, love the wife, but the children, they don't love the children, they don't show the children love, and all of those things. So we know that those things are out there. We're not assuming. We don't know who's listening. You might have a stepchild who might be giving you a hard time, and you might not know how to deal with it. And you might say, I'm loving the child, but the child is still. We know, we know that when the word person's children really don't take to step parents. And most of the times it's love that you have to really use to break down that barrier, because it's just a negative thing. Oh, step, you'll hear some children, I don't deal with steps, step I want me walk on. So once they hear step parent, they're not gonna. And they think that most of the times, whosoever joins the relationship, they think that they still want their mother and their father to be together. It doesn't matter how, even if it wasn't the woman's fault or the man's fault, they still have it in the back of their mind that their mother, their own biological parents, will still be together. And they are thinking that if you did not come into this relationship, they would have still be together. So for that reason, they will give you a hard time. They will not like you. They will be defensive. They will be defiant. They will be just give you a one time. But I believe that love, I've seen it. That person's who, and they really have to friend that child. Friend the child so that they fall in love with you. Because a lot of times when, especially for dynamics like those, we realize what happened is that you have not grown the child from birth. You're not the biological parent, but when you take the child, you want to be the parent, and you want to scold, and you want to tell him what to do. That's a no. You have to friend the child. You have to be a friend to that child until you can take time and be a parent to the child. Because if you start forcing rules and laws on the child, they're not going to take to you. And then they're going to be disrespectful, and they're going to be defiant, and they're going to tell them, you're not my parent, you're not my mom, and all of those things. So I know that is a real thing out there, and we really want to shed some light and help persons just to put things into perspective. And as we talk on that, we want to know go into communication. We know that in any relationship at all, communication is key. And a lot of times, maybe for as Mrs. Allen look at the stages last week, for the childhood stage and all of those, it's the infant stage and all of that. Most of the times we realize that the communication is there, the nice little bubbly relationship is there. And the thing is, when it's a child, when you have a disagreement or you slap that child, they'll come back. They'll come back and laugh with you, but the moment they're going into that teenage phase, when you scold them and you slap them, they're not gonna come back. They're gonna have that feeling and they're gonna hold on to it. So we want to explore now how do we help parents to bridge that gap, especially during the teenage phase. What can they do before the child gets to the teenage phase to ensure that when they do reach the teenage phase, you have a solid relationship with them? If you heard last week, recording or watch it, you would have heard when Mrs. Allen said that at the teenage phase, what they are most concerned about is not you, the parent, but is what their friends are saying. They want to please their friends, they want to fit in, they don't, all of those things. They think you talk too much, they think you're too much, they think you're tired, all of these things. And this is what we want to explore now. How do we help parents to bridge the gap at teenage phase? If the relationship has already been broken, what can they do? If it is that it needs strengthening, what can they do? If it is that they have none at all, what are some of the things that they can do? Okay, Mrs. Allen, over to you.
Okay, thanks, Samantha. I can't overemphasize the importance for parents to talk with your children, you know, spend time, with your children. We are now in a pandemic, and the pandemic has forced us now to be at home with our children. And guess what? Some parents find it frustrating because they want the children to be out for school and now they are homeschooled. And realize sometimes now you have conflicts in the home even more because some parents just can't manage it at all because they're not used to having them at home so long. Right? They take a breather. But guess what? They are our children. They are ours. And we have to just learn how to cope with our children. Are you hearing me clearly? You hear
No,
me clearly, Samantha?
no,
Seem like the internet was okay.
much
Hearing me
better
now?
now. Yes, yes.
Much better now. the internet just dipped a while ago, so I realized that
Yes.
yes, okay. It's me to see I'm in and out again. All right. So parents, we know that the teenage stage is a stage where they are getting more dependent. They are not so independent. Um so dependent no, they are more independent because they are more mature and all of that. And so they are thinking for themselves. I mean, they will want to talk back to us. It is normal because I mean they are not living separately anymore. So they analyze things for themselves and they have their own opinions and all of that. So because of that, we have to to talk with our children and understand that, look here, even though you're at this age, we know that respect still due in the home. So as parents, we just have to be respectful in talking to our children. Sometimes parents will use, harsh words, indecent language, and that doesn't work out with children because, as I think Damien mentioned it last week, with how the mother, how she style her own child, and all of that. So because of that, it's going to be damaging to our children. So parents, we have to bridge that gap and understand the stage that our children are at, that they're not babies anymore, and so we have to relate to them. Now, the stage that they're at, we need to be involved in activities that they love as well. Because in this technological age now, as parents, we have to keep abreast with the technology. We can't be afford to be left behind because our children are smart, right? And I mean, technology is not going anywhere. So earlier we catch on, it's better for us, yes. So we can bridge the gap that way. Parents, know your children's friends. Know who they are friends with, because we don't, even though they are influenced by their friends, you still don't want friends to be dictating. Are you hearing me again? I see where my internet is. I don't know, still dipping. You hearing me, Samantha?
No, it's not clear. I'm not hearing you much. I'm
Are
gonna
you hearing me
let
now?
it's not clear. I'm gonna switch over to oral and let him speak, and
Not
then
clear.
we by the time we get back, we hope that he'll come back.
Yes. And yes, and give me a I'm going to see if it's something with my computer as well. All right.
All right, so go ahead, Mr. Cameron, and share your view on that article.
Yes, as I said, there are some things that different backgrounds, different homes deal with some things different. There are some things, there are some homes that they did not spend time. That you hear me clearly?
Yes, I am hearing you clearly.
Right, that they did not spend time with their sons. Sometimes I saying everybody. They did not talk much to them in some homes. Well, and so sometimes mommy with their daughters, if they do have daughters and son now, whatever, vice versa. And sometimes when you become a man now, and that backbone thing that should have been behind you, you weren't taught that way. Now you come of age and you do have your children, whether have your children or child rather, whatever, whether child or children. Now we gonna cause a problem. You did not take anything from your home. No, you're in a different relationship. No, your bigger children now, it's a whole different thing. You don't have anything to tell them. So you have got to know, maybe seek help for guidance to your children. And then it's very important also, a lot of things that's happening that even in some homes, you see guys become criminals and girls become some other things. Sometimes there were no daddies to help them. And so we have a lot of single homes. Some of these young men come up, they don't know nothing. Now the bigger children, they don't know anything. All they can grow them. And the other day was a little young guy. I was surprised to hear daddy cursing mother to the 3-year-old. That is a bad footing. That's a bad footing. What are you instilling in your child? Explicit. Sometimes you lick them down, you kick them down. Hello? You are putting something in them that when they beget children, they should do that. And I want to say to some young men, parents out there, something might happen, being treated a certain way. I want to ask you, please, when you beget children, don't carry it over. Because this generation is different. This generation is different. As I say, sometimes your community could have grown you, and your village rather could have grown you, and you obey. This generation is different. Maybe not all, but most, they are totally different. And sometimes when you talk to them, they'll get back in your face. It's a different generation. When mommy spoke to you as a teenager, you respect. I'm not saying everybody, no. You showed respect. Hello? But this generation, sometimes they'll argue, as Sister Allen was saying a while ago, they'll argue face to face with you. I am saying, come on, what? As teenagers come up with my mother, I could never stand before her. Hello? I got married at 23, and I've got to be careful till I'm 23. Because my mother and father was of that sort. So I'm saying that it's a different era. When you hear son or daughter talking back to mother, you say, but what? Yes, but in your mind, I couldn't do that. I couldn't even think of it, so, but it's a new era. And again, as Sister Allen, also again, some of us are behind time. It's a technology here, age. And sometimes my son have to help me. You understand me? And we have to appreciate them just the same. So I'm saying there are times that we need to appreciate them. But from the interim, as you talk about teenager, before teenager, we have got to build up a communication skill with them. Their daughters should feel free to talk to their mothers about anything. And boys should be able to talk to their father, or vice versa. They should not be afraid of us. But sometimes it's sad to say they are afraid of us because of how boisterous we are, how cruel we are, how wicked we are. And hello, we need to tap them on their shoulder. Because some of them is doing much better than we were doing. They have more moral. Man, some parents, because some parents never go on good. Never go on good. So I was saying to somebody today, so if you have your teenager, keep on holding it, keeping the thing together. You got pregnant at 16 and your child will themselves and get pregnant at 19. Why kill them? I'm not saying they should get pregnant. But they held up better than you did. So there's no need to kill them or to calm them down, and be careful what we say to them. Because then sometimes sometimes become angry and they say something to us that we push up our chest and we become defensive. And we say, if we curse bad word, we do it. God, hello, this generation is going toe to toe with parents. And I was talking to our parents, imagine you, Lord have mercy, you have got to be careful in your days. When you go out, you have to tell your mother, Lord have mercy, where you're going. No, you have children going out. You have children going out by themselves. Mother call them or daddy, listen me good. No. You are sowing a seed, and sometimes there are some of us are parent children, and they have children. The same thing that they did, they disrespect parents in teenager. When they have their children, it become a problem. So be careful of the seed that you are sowing, because you are the next generation. Thank you, Samantha. You're mute.
Some words, and when you mention in truth and in fact, there are some parents who, in their time, they have done worse, and it's not that you're consoling the behavior, but you have to help. You have to help. You have to help them along the way. All right, Mrs. Allen, we're gonna go over to you now.
All right. I hope I'm much clearer now.
Yes, I'm hearing you clearly.
I tell you something. You see, mine was the device, Samantha. So I had to change the device.
Oh,
Yes. All right. So I hope all is well now. Um, or I mentioned some stuff that I would have said, and I do agree. I just want to add, however, to bridge a gap with our children, our teenagers, as he mentioned. I believe the conversation is very important. We know our children, they are now growing up into adults, young adults. And so as a result of that, they will need their privacy, and we have to respect that as well, right? They need their privacy at certain age. However, we still have to have boundaries. So you have to let your children know from early what you stand for in your home, because we don't want the outside world to be teaching our children certain things that should have been taught in the home. And that's why I said the conversation is very important. And I agree with him that the daughters should be able to talk with their moms. I would want to know that my child is getting information out there that is not true and holding on to those information. So parents, I'm saying to us, some of us, we grew up shy, and our own, if we are to be honest, Samantha, some of us parents didn't, they didn't have that in them to really sit us down and tell us certain things. But guess what? We are living an age now where we have to do more than what our parents did for us, because the internet is there, everything is available to our children. I mean, nothing is hiding from our children. So might as well we have the conversation with them, let them understand life from now, and the do's and the don'ts and your expectation as well. Teaching teenagers over the years, I have made some discoveries. Some parents, they will come to me at times and say that, "Boy, Miss Ali, me can't bother, can't manage the one." And sometimes I ask them, "How many children you have?" And you're surprised to hear some of them say just one. And I'm saying, "One?" And you can't manage? I said, "Ask me how much I have." And they will ask, and I said, "Three." So I said, I mean, come on now. You can't manage your one, but I'm managing my three. What's going on here? And I'm saying, parents, you are the parent. I mean, let the child know that you are the parent. Talk with your children, let them know what you stand for. You understand me? Because if you don't do that, you will lose them. And we found out that some of the teenagers that are so disrespectful and the way they behave, it is coming from the home. Sometimes every home have their own morals and their own values and all of that, right? And sometimes, sad to say, some of them are not so good. And so when the children come to us, the teenagers, we have a challenge, in dealing with them, and realize that we have to now go back now and do workshop with parents and teach them parenting skills. Because honestly, I don't want to say we can't tell people when to have children. But I think I remember when Damon mentioned it last week, say somebody put in the chat that some parents are just too young. They are children themselves. So but guess what? I can't help with that, because the parents come to us and they are very young, and the child is young, look like brother and sister. The children are already here. All I can do is to, provide the parenting skills as a parent. This is not how you do it. Do it this way. And give them some tips and hope that they will run with it, in helping to grow their children, So these are some of the ways that we can bridge a gap with our teenagers, and talk with our children, have fun with them, do activities. I can confess that I'm not a lover of cartoon, but my children love animated movies, and they will watch animated movie with their father. And I remember they always said that, "Mommy, you're not watching not with on daddy alone." And I felt so bad. I'm telling the truth. And then we kind of make up, we start watch 1 and 2 with them. Lord have mercy. And the truth is, it makes a difference, because it bring the family together. So parents, sometimes we just chill and put on a little Samantha yesterday look a parenting thing and us make your children say why you can loosen up and have fun with your children, because parenting is a wonderful thing. Yes, it is challenging, but trust me, if we really take the different advice, the wise counsel and the instruction, especially from the Bible and from persons who have example to us, we can work together as a village and help to groom our children in the right way. So that's my perspective in terms of bridging the gap with our teenagers.
I tell you, sometimes we are too stiff. I was watching a movie the other day, I think it's called Yes Day. So the idea is that they for one day, the children, everything that they ask for is going to be yes. There's no. And they had so much fun. I tell you. They did some weird stuff. They even went to the drive-through car wash and they said, windows down. And the mother was like, and he said, remember it's yes day. And she said, okay, windows down. And they had fun. They dried, they got wet, they got soapy, and they got dried from the heat again. So, yes, I guess you really, as parents, you have to just learn to chill sometimes. We hear Aura say that a lot of times, even last week. You have to chill, just leave them, give them some time, and just let them be sometimes, and all of that. Another challenge that I've observed is that there are times when we realize that parents would have to leave their children to go for a better life. As persons, we will understand and we will put it. They go for a better life and they leave their children with somebody else. They leave their children with somebody else, and maybe they leave them at a tender age where right at that time when the parent maybe would have had influence over the children, they weren't there to bond with them and we know that most of the time the parents expect the children to understand, but they really don't understand that they really have to go or they really have to go. What can you say to parents who may feel as though they have lost the touch and that connection, the communication, everything is kind of on a downhill? What can they do to get back things and to get back the children, maybe their heart or their mind, wherever they have lost it? Or we're gonna have you sharing.
It comes back again to communication. Um, if you sit and talk to your child, I love say child actually because some person have one, some have more than one. If you sit and talk to your child, well, things is rough on this side, and here's an opportunity that I can better our lives together. Well, you have got to sit them down, show them what's happening in the reality and what can happen. And then you might have to leave them with somebody to maybe oversight them, depends on their age. Might have to leave somebody to check on them. But what you could do to keep the bond, you could maybe, because technology is available, we could do maybe video call, you could WhatsApp, you could text. They must understand so everything we put on the plate or the table rather before you leave, whether for 3 or 4 or 5 months. That listen me, I am going, I won't be able to communicate with you as much as possible. So what you could do is, because you're about to leave, maybe if you love, maybe some person love movie, you care them maybe eat like ice cream, cake, go to the beach, can have some long lasting fun with them. If you got to take off a day to say, listen, me, let's go to the beach. And you cook maybe like a chicken or whatever, have a picnic style, as they would say when they were much younger. You build up that relationship, give them something lasting. And as you reach over, sons or daughter, I'm here. And every now and again, as time go along, you give them a call, but you're gonna tell them that because where I'm going, I would not be able to call you so frequent. So understand that this is it. And I'm thinking that if we lay it on the table where communication is made, I think as time go along, when you are back physically, they'll be fine. The whole God, the only thing the only thing they lose, whether it's 3 or 6 months, is the physical touch and hug. Because you're always calling and say, listen, I'm on the mall. Hi, I'm here. I'm buying a shoes for you. So right, the anticipation is built up. So when you come back, it is easy again for the slot or the puzzle to fix together, and the communication, the joy, and everything will be on the run again. Thank you, Samantha.
Thank you so much, Mr. Cameron. Sound word. Okay, Mrs. Allen, your view. What can
Yeah,
you say to parents?
I agree with everything that Aura. Communication is key. It's not like back in the days where we didn't have technology at its fullest now, where we have WhatsApp and you can, what you call it, FaceTime and Skype and the whole works. Back then, when parents would have let children to go abroad, instead to seek a better life or to work, whatever the situation may be, they would not be able to communicate with their children like now. Probably just a phone call, but not seeing the child. But today, thank God, technology, wow, advanced technology. You can Skype, you can still see your child face to face and talk with your child. Now, for parents who have to go abroad to work, right? Because I have students, because they are teenagers, they're not babies, who have their parents who are abroad time after time. Some spend probably 3, 6 months, some spend a year or even more. And so I said to parents, before you go, it is only fair for you to have that conversation with your children. Sit down, talk with them, tell them why you are going so they know. Some parents don't feel so they need to tell their children anything, just pick up themselves and just go abroad because they are the adults. But remember, it affects the child because the child is used to you being home and all of that. So parents must have that conversation with their children. So I do encourage that. And also, what I know works, Samantha, because I've encouraged it and I've seen parents done it, where I have students whose parents are abroad, and you wonder if they're abroad. Because guess what? They keep in touch with the school, with the teacher. They are so involved as if they were physically in Jamaica with their children. And so the child know that the mother or the father is still keeping abreast with their schoolwork, and that motivate them to do their work just the same way as if their parents were here. And as Oral said, it's important you leave with somebody who is also responsible, that will endorse your rules and stand by the principles that you have established in your home. Because if you leave them with persons who do not abide by the rules that you have set, then you know you're going to have a problem, right? So it's very important. So I know it's critical, especially if you leave them too young. So I encourage parents, when you return, make sure that I would say you probably play catch up. But guess what? Make sure when you return, you do what you need to do. So all the things that you miss, like the PTAs for your child, and all the things that you would have missed, like going out and having fun, do those things. So the child know that, look here, I was here 6 months enough, I was here 3 months, but guess what? I couldn't wait to come back and do certain things with you. So the child know that, yeah, mommy or daddy is still a part of my life and they're not missing out on anything. So those are some of the things that I would suggest to parents to keep doing, because guess what? We know time is hard and some parents really have to go abroad and do what they have to do. We don't like when I call the children, persons call the children barrel children. When they say barrel children or barrel children mean, all they do is send goods come. Just clothes and shoes. And the child not see the parent. And that is detrimental. That was barrel. That are not love. That are just goods. And I'm telling you, the child will not remember you for what you have given to them. But the child will remember the thing that you have instilled in them. That's what they remember. Because you see shoes and clothes, hello, that's how your growth and that done with. That mash up and gone. But it's what you instill in your child that will live with your child. So I always encourage parents, is not nobody worry over how much shoes and this is what you can buy for your kids. Can they not remember that? But they will remember the values and the more that you have instilled with them. That is what will live with them forever. So that's what I have to say about that, Samantha.
Awesome, awesome stuff, I tell you. We just want to take this time to shout out to all our persons that are on. I see your comments. Thank you so much for being here. We really, really appreciate you. Remember to subscribe because we want to see you and we want to make sure that whenever we are live and for other programs that you will be here. And on Friday, you have just 5 minutes of thrill. When we say TGIF, thank God it's Friday. Friday vibes in five, just 5 minutes of thrilling and Friday vibes and all of those things. So I want you to subscribe so you don't miss out on all of that. As you mentioned, Mrs. Allen, about um, spending time, and so that when you are back, when the parents are back, it would have felt like they have not left. While you spoke, another issue came to mind. The challenge of parents being separated, divorced, or they are not together anymore. And most of the time, the relationship between maybe one of the parents, the one who maybe has to leave the home, you realize that the relationship sometimes is lost. Sometimes maybe the father feel as though, okay, the relationship with the mother is finished, so the relationship with the children are finished too. They don't spend time with them, they don't deal with them. It sometimes is a challenge for whichever party, the man or the woman who is getting the attitude, and all of those things. We don't know, so we want to shed some light and say something to parents who may be faced with that kind of a situation. How can they deal with that? And what advice would be given to the ones who are maybe delinquent so that they'll be able to step up and to do what they ought to do. Mr. Cameron.
That's a powerful one. But I've always said to myself that if one parent, all right, the wife or the husband or the girlfriend or the boyfriend, whatever. So let's put marital to talk about divorce. I think maybe we could stay right there. One leave one. So the wife, so the husband, let's use the husband, might have left the wife with a son or a daughter. And the communication barrier is broken down between the wife and the husband. There's a non-communication. Remember, I've always said it is your child. You cannot allow, because you and the individual broke up, to allow that child to feel like an orphan, not important. No, it's already your child. Show them love. Show them love at the end of the day. Because guess what? If the relationship was good and for some reason it's broken, that child or children is going to miss the other party, whether the female, the mother, or the father. So whichever has the child, some love must be shown. And I've always said, if there's a separation, come on, man or lady, come on, talk to your child by some reason. By some reason, find time to communicate with your child. I have very condition that for somehow this I don't know what I mean, because sometimes parents don't talk truth. Sometimes one parents don't talk truth. Sometimes say daddy and a bad man, or daddy never take care, or there's some lady never this, and we don't know. We as children, the child might come up and hear something that they don't know. And I've dealt with a condition, a girl maybe near 50, said to me, Cameron, if I see my father right now, I kill him. And I'm saying, why? Mommy say never take care of me. I say, mommy tell us I don't know. I don't know. Because sometimes some parents will let some things look bad and the other parents, sometimes it is true. I'm not saying I cannot rule, because sometimes it's true. That's for some reason daddy leave mother. And I want to talk to parents sometimes. Let us try to make it about. Sometimes we can't live together. Somebody might have to go, but remember, sometimes for your child's sake, sometimes it's good to stick together. But for some reason we can't agree, and maybe somebody will commit, because these days murder and suicide come like a joke thing. You understand me? Next time mother kill mother, father kill mother, then father kill himself. So I'm saying, if there is a breakage with divorce is or somebody separate, remember it's your child. Don't allow your child to suffer because one party has left. It is your child. My child, do the best you can, because whatever we instill in them, because sometimes mommy talk some contrary things and allow that child to hate daddy, and daddy talk the same thing about mommy. So I'm saying again, sometimes when some things happen, if the child doesn't ask you have something that need to be known, leave it alone. Because sometimes in this thing, when they get older, they hate daddy, they hate mommy. So we have got to be careful when there's a separation. Remember, it's your child, man. And some daddies, again, you left mommy the child, and when at graduation time, you have beat up your chest, that's my child. You didn't play any role. Boy, that's my child. She has achieved. That's my son. He has achieved. Sometimes mommy doesn't, sometimes a child don't even know their mother. I want to ask the parents to hold the root, man. And if you live together and you don't want to deal with each other, remember there's a child. And that child is gonna come up tomorrow. Either hate you, I hate both of you. So let's do the best you can for the sake of the child. Thank you, Samantha.
Some words indeed, I tell you. And as we're getting ready to close, and I've mentioned earlier that a lot of times we parents do their best, but we realize that the children still want to do the wrong based on where their own mindset and where they what they're thinking, or sometimes something gone wrong or something we don't even know. But we have seen a challenge quite often where parents will do the right thing, as the word of the Lord says, train up the child in the way they should go, and when they're old, they will not depart from it. We know that at times they'll stray, and we have had that, we have seen that. And as we're getting ready to close, we want to close with that. If it is that we have parents who you have done your best, and your child or your children decide to not do or not to follow the values or the things that you would want them to do, how can they deal with such events of life? Mrs. Alice.
That is so true, Samantha. Let me start by saying that as parents, we want the best for our children. And no matter how old they are, they will always be our children. Or some person say they always be our babies, no matter what. I mean, it's your child. And even when they are adults, you still care, you still want to make sure that all is well with them. However, you have cases where parents have done all that they can, or some will say they have done all that they can. But my advice to parents is that never give up. Continue to be the role model for your child. If you know you are doing your best, I would say to you, keep on doing your best, right? Never give up on your child. Keep on encouraging them to do the right thing, modeling the behavior. And as a child of God, I would say pray over your children. Prayer changes things. So when you talk and you can't do nothing more, go down on your knees. I'm telling you, go to knee city and put them before the Lord. And what I also say to parents also, speak over the life of your children, because just as we want the best of them and we want to see them go the right path, as Samantha would mention, the scripture said, train up the child the way he should go, not growing up, but go the path that you want the child to take. The child will stray, but as I said before, because of different influences as they grow. All right. But when they are growing up and when the career path or when they are ready to go on their own, and certain situation reach them, they can always rally back on what parents have instilled in them. So I say to parents all the time, if you don't put anything in them, when they reach a roadblock, what are they going to reflect on? I said to parents, if you don't tell them about God, if you don't give them God, when they are at a roadblock and they need to make a decision, and you don't give them that, what are the options they have? All they're going to see is just the destruction, what have been said to them all along. So parents, keep on doing what you are doing. Pray over the lives of your children. And also, if it reach a point where you can't go any further, seek professional help. You have children who also look up to other individuals apart from us as parents who they respect, right? And so you can draw on these persons and say, Oral, talk to my son because, boy, me think you can get to him on a certain level. Nothing is wrong with that. It doesn't show that you are less of a parent, Samantha. But guess what? As I said, it takes a village to raise a child. Only sad thing about it now, Samantha, is that the village kind of change up now. Because, boy, if it depends on the village you are going now, you don't really want to raise a child. You understand what I'm saying? Because, depending on where you are living and what is going around, some persons around you can really help you. But we can find individuals who can help us with our children. So parents, never give up. Keep on encouraging your children. Pray over your children. Speak the things that you want over them, because when you have done your best, trust me, when they reach certain age, they will look back and remember. And I close with this, Samantha. You must have heard the story where the young man, whether it's a true story or not, when they came out of the courthouse and he called his mother and behave as he was going to tell his mother something and he bite off his mother's ears. Whether it's true or not, the moral of the story is he said to his mom, if you were telling me that I was wrong, I would not end up in this situation. What is that saying to us? Children, they expect us to tell them the right thing. They will not say to you, but they are expecting it. They know that they need discipline. They don't like it, but they expect it. So tell our parents, do what you need to do, because at the end of the day, they will reflect and go back to what I've been taught. So keep the morals, keep your values up, never give up on the children, and remember, prayer is the key. That's all I have to say about that part.
Thank you so much. Over to you now, Oral.
You see, we are playing the same B card tonight. We're not shifting it. As Sister Allen rightly said, I should talk about prayer. Because you say, train up a child in the way he ought to go. And as somebody typed in the chat a while ago that sometimes you can, as they say, 7 children, 7 different minds. And sometimes your parent train you, they talk to you, they do all they can. But as they become teenagers and become adult, they leave and go on their own. At the end of the day, you ought not to be blamed, because you tell them what was right and refrain from accepting what you said. So at the end of the day, when you do what you should and they find themselves in trouble, they can look back and said, when if it's a single parent, dad tell me the right thing, mom tell me the right thing, or if it's your grandparent, we put it thus far, or your stepfather, or your stepdad, they did the right thing. And she said something a while ago, and sometimes the relation, especially if you are in a Christian home, if you're in a Christian home, and your child or your children is there, have a day. All right, let me give an example. At my home, I have a day when myself, my wife, and my 2 sons, I tell them that this is family fast day. Oh Lord Jesus. Sister Glennis, this is family fast day. I say, listen me now, no game, knowing this, we are going to seek God for the betterment of ourselves, the betterment of our environment. You have career part. You have different struggles. Because they have struggle in flesh. I'm just the same, you know. So we are gonna fast it as a God help them, help us to be better parents. Cause sometimes we think we are the best until something happen. When someone you couldn't be as a camera, me a minister you can be a camera cause bad out so. Hello somebody. Because sometimes your children can tempt you so much.
Yes,
Especially
so true.
especially if you used to curse bad out, you just sing like a Spanish and German. You can talk all the clot. Yeah, hello somebody.
Hello?
Plate clot, plate clot, fabric clot, all sort of something. So there are times that you have got to sit down as a family and discuss matters. Cause hello, we won't be with them every day. Sometimes we can bet something when you get married, sometimes your parents don't want you to leave. Especially if you're good. But if everybody can always go on. But they still buy a gift when you're married, so I don't know why. You understand me? They say buy a gift and you go. So I'm saying, parents, listen to me. Do as Sister Grace rightly said in our closing remarks. Do the best you can with whatever you have. You may not have to give you may not have it to give like other children, other parents could, but give your love, give your communication, fast with them, pray with them when they are sleeping. Go in at the house and speak a word while they are sleeping. When they get up, then change. You know somebody. Get up and speak a word. As I said today, I know it's a different thing. As I said, sometimes, just like if your husband bad, when he must sleep, not touch him, speak a word over him in Jesus' name. Wife and husband and wife speak over husband. If you see with the children, the same principle apply to parent, apply to your children. Because hello, we want them to be something that you can smile about. You know, much person are crying today because guess what? They didn't do the right thing. Some of them. Some did the right thing and the children become wayward and become destructive. But some parents did all they can and all they could. But the children refuse to hear. And no mommy saying, oh, if you had here, you would be here with me. All they can do is visit prison. And they can visit, sometimes is to visit the cell. So they are got to visit the grave, the tombstone. Hello, somebody. I want to say to some parents, as Sister Glenn said a while ago, I don't matter how far they have gone. Speak that word in the name of Jesus over their life. It can work, and if you cannot do it, get back up. Just like the Jamaican JDF and the police force go in together, someday you need to get a group of persons to fight warfare. Because what your children is doing is not, they're not doing of themselves. Something else influence them. And we can't look at them going under. Hello? You wipe the nose, you change the pampers, you do everything, and the devil gonna take your children. Hello, in the name of Jesus, not in my household. Lord have mercy. Hello. Then I'll change their name to Rat and Bat. Hello, we not bring for a Rat and Bat. The devil is a liar. That was what I'm saying, that we cannot accept something for our children. And as we close up this evening, it's a powerful thing. As Sister Aline said, I was saying to my son earlier, he has some mentor. Nothing is not wrong. Nothing wrong selling for me to call Sister Aline talk to my son. Nothing no wrong. You are capable and we are speaking the same thing. But if you are not speaking the same thing, don't let them talk to your children. Because they'll mess them up as best and bad and bad. Sister Aline, Sister Samantha, bless him. My time is up.
Oh yes, we don't bring no butter, no rat. Sound words, sound words, sound words. And while you spoke, I thought of it, and just to add that we want to create that balance so that the children will see that it's not just being, and Oral mentioned it, go on picnic, do things, do fun things. And Dennis mentioned it too. Watch some of the things with them. So you're not just tight and all of those things, but you have a balance. So And sometimes too they go through phases. And when you go through your phase, when you don't feel like you want to feel like, you want somebody to understand that it's a phase. So sometimes they go through a phase, and you must be there to catch them, mighty God. You must be there to catch them right there again when they are just in their phase and about to come out their phase. If when they are going through their phase and they are disturbed and confused, and every day you're in their ears, this is not what I have for you. This is not a what a distance, ming 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 like mosquito, then you are going to lose them because nobody wants to stay around somebody who is nagging and miserable. So we have to understand that they do go through phases too, and we have seen it a lot of times. You can't stop praying, but you still have to show them love. Don't let anybody to tell you about if it was mine, I would dash him out. They can dash out theirs. Because if you love your child, you're not gonna throw them out. You want to see the best for them. And their phase might take them down a hill. But if you allow them and you just leave them, who's gonna help them up back? They're yours. You have to protect the lineage. You have to protect your lineage. So even if they're fail miserably, you want to still hold them up. And we see it too many times. Even when we look at teenage pregnancy, we see it so many times. They get pregnant and you don't want it and you put them out. And they already can't start life for themselves. So when you put them out, who's gonna help them? And that is why you see the poor lineage continue so many times, because you have to be there for them to help them through their phase and speak over them, speak life. When you're hurt and you're feeling like you can't deal with it, don't say nothing. Just be silent. Find somebody who you can vent to so that they can help you to cope. And then you can be able to deal with all that you have dealing with. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. We need to take the authority the Lord gave us and speak positive over ourselves and our children. Nothing is impossible. Amen and amen. And as we are just about closing, I want to say thank you so much again for tuning in. Thank you so much again, Mr. Oral Cameron. Thank you, Mrs. Glennis Allen, for being here. I really, really appreciate your presence. And I know the audience love you and they have enjoyed all that you share. And this recording is always there. You can still share it with people who have missed it, uh, with all persons you know. And you can go back and watch if you have not yet, if you just tune in and you have to go. And on Wisdom Wednesday, I like for us to leave in a good and happy mood. Because even though we are spirit beings, we are not just spirit beings, we are human too. And we know a lot is going on, and we want to relax our bodies and our mind as we go off to the rest of our evening. So get yourself in a relaxed position, and we are going to do our relaxation technique. As I said to you before, you can also find relaxation music on YouTube and you can listen to it while you do this. You're going to get yourself in a relaxed position. If you have to close your eyes, you can do so. And you are going to inhale when I count you off, and you're going to exhale. When you inhale, I want you to hold that breath in your chest until you feel it. Feel it, and then you are going to softly let it go through your mouth. Are you ready? I am. One, two, three. Inhale. Exhale. One, two, three. Inhale. Hold it. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One last time, and you're going to let go everything. Inhale and exhale. Beautiful. That's wonderful. I hope you enjoyed that. They said you can always practice that in your own time. Thank you again and have yourself a wonderful rest of the evening as we continue to strive and to thrive, to be and to become a better version of ourselves. I want to remind you that mindset is everything. Even in parenting, you have to use mindset. Some of the old things that you learned long time ago and some of the socialization, throw them away. Work on that mindset. New era, new things. Okay, I'm willing to learn. I'm opening my mind. I'm going to try new things. I'm going to listen more. I'm going to read more. I'm going to get help if I need to. And all of those beautiful things. Next week, we are going to have another wonderful evening. We are going to still dive, we're going to dive into uh, understanding parents who might have children with special needs and may have behavioral challenges too from that. So you don't want to miss that. Remember to hit that subscribe. Yes, so that we can have more people coming on and we can reach a wide cross section of people. Thank you so much and have yourself a wonderful night. Bye bye.